Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into something that looks like it was ripped right out of a sci-fi movie, but it's actually presented as a very real modern pitch deck. Today, we are enthusiastically unpacking this futuristic concept known as Kopylov Sphere. What we've got our hands on is a fascinating set of source materials outlining not just a single medical device, but an entire interconnected ecosystem. It is a wildly bold presentation, and we're going to break down exactly what the developers are proposing, using their very own data. It's a pretty compelling hook, right? According to the developer's core premise, human illness isn't always about chemistry or invasive biology at all. To them, it's simply a frequency imbalance. The pitch asks us to imagine a world where you can be scanned, your imbalanced cellular frequencies get detected, and then, quite literally, corrected or tuned back to health, kind of like fixing a static-filled radio station. It's a radically different way of looking at the human body, and their documentation lays out exactly how they intend to pull this off.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll start with number 1, a paradigm shift in medicine. 2, we'll meet Kopylov Sphere. 3, the science of synchronization. 4, the patient journey. 5, their comprehensive healing claims. And finally, 6, the franchise business model.
Starting right off with Section 1, a paradigm shift in medicine, traditional versus resonance.
To really understand this pitch, we first have to look at how the creators contrast their proposed technology with traditional allopathic medical practices. And the source materials draw a very stark line here. They frame traditional medicine as highly invasive, relying on blood draws, biopsies, surgery, and they criticize it for being hyper-focused on suppressing symptoms rather than addressing the actual root causes, often only detecting an illness when it's already at a late clinical stage. In contrast, Kopylov's approach is presented as 100% non-invasive and hygienically flawless. The developers assert that their AI-driven tech targets the root causal frequencies of the body, which allows for predictive, early detection way before any physical clinical symptoms even show up. Now, it's absolutely crucial to remember that this is simply how the developers are framing the landscape to set the stage for their solution.
Moving right along to Section 2. Meet Kopylov Sphere, the ecosystem. Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer aesthetic of these devices. They are incredibly striking. First up, you have this sleek white examination sphere. The documentation describes this as an absolute sensory isolation chamber, equipped with an MRI-like scanner to capture highly detailed measurements of your body's vibrations. Beside that is the dark correlation sphere. That one is equipped with a system of more than 90 low-frequency speakers, and those are designed to deliver highly localized, targeted resonant waves directly to specific, imbalanced organs. I mean, it literally looks like a futuristic space pod.
But the ecosystem goes even further than that. Beyond just the examination and correlation pods, the documentation introduces what they call the sphere of fine-tuning. This is an immersive aquatic environment where clients are actually submerged in an egg-shaped capsule filled with water. The whole system uses both high-frequency and low-frequency emitters to create these resonant waves directly in the water, aiming for complete cellular synchronization and a feeling almost like zero gravity. It's designed for total 360-degree immersion of both mind and body.
Which brings us to Section 3, the science of synchronization, and how this all claims to actually work.
So, the foundational concept underlying everything here is resonance frequency therapy. According strictly to the source material, this methodology rests on a very specific principle: the idea that every single organ and system in the human body naturally possesses its own characteristic vibrational frequency. Illness, therefore, isn't an invader, it's simply an imbalance or a deviation in these baseline frequencies. So the cure, according to the pitch, is correcting that imbalance through resonance synchronization. Essentially, you override the bad frequency by introducing the correct healthy one.
And this brilliantly illustrates that core theory. Notice the chaotic, jagged wave representing an imbalanced, diseased state. By utilizing their advanced scanning and targeted resonance therapy, the Kopylov Sphere claims to process those chaotic deviations and literally shift the body's vibrations back to a smooth, harmonized, healthy baseline. It's a very clean, very compelling visual metaphor for their proposed therapeutic mechanism.
Let's look at Section 4, the patient journey, or as they call it, the continuous optimization loop.
The actual clinic experience is structured as a brisk 4-step continuous loop. Step 1 is the body vibration scan. The patient enters that soundproof sphere we saw, where an AI analyzes the frequencies of all their internal organs in total isolation. Step 2 is the AI diagnosis. That's where the software compares your personal data to a healthy baseline to spot microscopic imbalances. Step 3 is the actual frequency correction, involving targeted therapy using something the source calls a resonance gun, alongside those therapeutic spheres. And finally, Step 4 is monitoring and rescanning. They do post-correction scans to verify clinical efficacy and track your progress in real time. So it's designed to be this completely closed, continuous feedback loop.
On to Section 5, Comprehensive Healing Claims, the scope of treatment. The source materials include this massive systemic impact matrix, which categorizes their scope of treatment. The sheer scale of the claims being made here is pretty staggering. It spans everything from proactive longevity and wellness to managing highly complex diseases across neurological, cardiovascular, and cellular systems. I really want to emphasize here, we are maintaining strict journalistic neutrality. These are entirely the developers' assertions as presented in their own promotional materials, not our medical endorsements.
So the crucial point is just how extraordinary these claims actually are. The text explicitly lists the ability to non-invasively treat severe bacterial and viral infections. We're talking Lyme disease, cytomegalovirus, and literally even the Ebola virus. It lists major neurological conditions like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and MS. But most notably, it claims to work with a vast array of oncological diseases. It details specific leukemias, lymphomas, sarcomas, and various aggressive carcinomas, including breast, gastric, and prostate cancer. The bold pitch here is that they can detect these anomalies at the cellular level and halt the pathology early simply by correcting the frequency.
And that brings us to Section 6, the franchise business model, pitched as a turnkey operation. Transitioning away from the medical theory and straight into the boardroom, they break down a very aggressive, very fast launch roadmap for investors. According to the pitch, an investor goes from zero to a fully operational clinic in just a few phases. In month 1, the franchise agreement gets signed and room prep begins. By month 2, specialists are on site to install the equipment, test the systems, and train the staff on clinical protocols. And by month 3, this turnkey advertising campaigns launch, the doors swing open, and the clinic starts taking in its first premium diagnostic clients. It's pitched as a highly efficient, rapid market entry. And to back up this franchise model, the source provides some very specific financial proof. They highlight a rigorous A/B testing lead generation campaign that they conducted in Munich, Germany. The result? Well, they claim to have generated over 200 applications for initial examinations from a single campaign. But more importantly for potential investors, they established a proven price point of up to 500 euros per session. They argue this absolutely proves there is a high-end consumer willingness to pay a premium for this resonance therapy. The documentation also breaks down exactly who is demanding this service. The data shows the highest engagement comes from the 35 to 44 and 45 to 54 age brackets. The pitch explains this is largely driven by people seeking proactive quality-of-life improvements and early disease prevention. But additionally, there's a huge spike in the 65-plus age group, representing a mature population that is seeking active longevity and non-invasive ways to manage chronic conditions without traditional medicine.
Let's move to and see how this builds into their larger macroeconomic argument. The developers are tying their franchise model directly to an exploding global trend. They point to a projected global medtech market volume of $175 billion by 2025, a massive hockey stick increase in search queries for resonance therapy, and obviously, rising global life expectancy. They are positioning Kopylov Sphere right at the intersection of AI, big data, and personalized alternative medicine, aiming to capture a market of an aging population that is demanding sustainable, non-invasive health technologies.
Which brings us to our final thought today. We've looked at the stunning, non-invasive diagnostic pods, the incredibly vast claims of cellular healing, and this highly aggressive, turnkey franchise roadmap. It really leaves us with a fascinating dual narrative to consider based on the source materials. Is the future of preventative health truly hidden in the subtle frequencies of our cells, just waiting to be tuned? Or is this simply the ultimate high-tech wellness pitch, designed to capture a very lucrative market? It's a remarkable presentation for sure, and one that absolutely leaves you wanting to learn more about where frequency and biology might actually intersect. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.